Well, let's just move from one Furia player to the next. I had to, while Fallen is here, bring up the fact that Molodoy has just been a revelation in terms of coming out of relative obscurity to now becoming an MVP of a top tier event. I mean, I'll say my piece first on him before I hear yours, but I think just in terms of individual ability, his re-peaking ability is I don't know, it's second to none right now. He's getting if he has an opportunity as opponents are trying to take space to just go for a one little sliver re-peak and just fire one more shot off.
That
He's
small
getting
1v1, right? That small 1v1 for a couple seconds, right? Yeah.
yeah, he takes it, and he's so adept at it. Whereas in CS2, I feel like repeaking with the op is really tough. It's harder than it was in
True.
CS:GO. He's really sharp with doing that, and his ability to just become a battle op or two if a default gets really hectic because the CTs are starting to push you guys in. He can just whip around, just get a couple quick kills. He almost feels like whether he has a rifle in his hand, which he does oftentimes on T side, or he has the op in his hand, it feels like you have another rifler there. I mean, he feels like he's always ready to get a trade, maybe even get a kill that as a guy gets one and tries to peel off, he gets the guy before he's able to get away. I mean, even when he does have the rifle in his hand, his pre-aims are so good, his micro corrections are so good, his visualization of the next fight is so strong. I feel like there was some hiccups at times when he was maybe playing in the arena stages, but really versus just elite teams more or less. But after what I saw at Fisher, a lot of that seems to have gone away. I mean, the reps have clearly helped at this point. So yeah, I just want to hear what you have to say about Molodoy Fallen because he's been just I mean he's the rookie of the year so far.
Yeah, I think that when this Rook of the Year conversation starts happening, before this tournament, I was like, whoever wins more tournaments from Falcons or Furia is either Kiyosuke or him. Whoever wins more tournament until the end of the year. So yeah, big advantage for him now that he just won one, beating Kiyosuke there. But there's more events to be played. Kiyosuke can still come back. And I think it's going to be between the two of them. I think they're the two most incredible players this year that just came out. And Molodoy, exactly as you mentioned, I think you described it pretty well. There's just so many micro peak performances that he has on every single aspect that is just beautiful to see. And it's one of the things that really got me excited about him. When I played against him at first, it was just a practice on Mirage. We were doing like a 3 mid 2A T side thing. He cleared 3 mid, jumped on the con box and killed the apps guy in less than 7 seconds.
Okay.
Like boom, 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 jump con, boom. Suddenly 1v5, bro. The guy just in 7 seconds killed 4 of us with the AWP in a row. And I was like, there's something different. Nobody can hit shit like that. Nobody can. It doesn't matter if it's just a prax or not. But if our scene here is not a one-time thing, this guy's insane. And then we kept playing the match, and you could see that he was stretching the margins a lot on some situations. He was making us very uncomfortable. And then, of course, you guys watch, you can see the resemblances from other players. And as a player, you can feel the presence as well in the server. And then you only feel those kind of things from very few players. So when you're playing against a guy who is making sure the presence is noted and is stretching every margin, you're like, there's something different in this guy. And then we played another practice with him, same thing, and I was like, holy shit, this is the next guy. I wasn't even considering change role at the time. I just mentioned to the guys like, this kid is very good. He's the next shit. And then when I was playing against the Spirit Academy, a few months before, maybe a year before, still in Imperial, 1 or 2 years before, I was playing against Donkey Spirit Academy, and he hits me a Deagle shot on Nuke T side. I was alping orange on Nuke, and he goes T red. Boom. I was like, this guy either is hacking or something out of the world. Like, nobody kills me like that. Like, that's not usual. And then later, Donk shows up. So those kind of things you don't get really much when playing CS in practice. You don't really get this sense so many times. So that's why when I had this feeling, I told Gary, he was coaching, I think at the time, I was like, this is the next kid. And then we decided to make a change because the team wasn't working. And I was really, at some point, you got to really try to self-analyze yourself and see, maybe it's not working because I cannot make it work anymore in my department. Like what if I could be owning a different department? And then the coach people in Furia was like, I think you have just too many roles right now. You just cannot do it all of them at the same time anymore. It's just a fact, And I was literally thinking about stopping my career and all those things. They're like, we need to start preparing your department from Furia because you now have the IGL role, you have the ALP role, and if you leave, like, who the fuck are we gonna get? And I always say, like, who is the next Brazilian Alper that's going to come and do all those things Molodoy is doing? I even said in other interviews, no disrespect to Faith and KZ, I think they might get to this level at some point, and I'm cheering for them, but they're just not there all those times I'm playing, because many of the times I was playing against them in home games, Brazilian games, I couldn't feel this presence. Like I'm playing against a guy who apparently I can just keep to the same level. So why would I give the LP to someone else? I have given the LP to ZKK before, back in the days. I don't know if you guys remember that. I had made the same transition before. And ZKK was the best sorcerer player in Brazil for the Alp as well. So I just did, with ZKK, I felt like a presence. I knew that he was good. So it made sense. So in the end, it wasn't too clear for me to really think about this idea, because I never really had a perfect Alper that I was like, bro, this guy's the next shit. I got to give it to him. So I never really showed up. And then when Gehi told me all those things and Sid told me those things, I was like, there's only one guy I know from playing the games that I think is the next one. And then it was Molodoy, And then I'm glad that Furia made it happen. I'm glad that he accepted as well, because it was a big challenge. And yeah, he's the real deal, bro. I think he's the next one. I think he's the next big one. And as long as he keeps working and we got a good people around him, I think he can go much further.
Yeah, the actual thing I'll start with is I actually think, look, obviously he's better than you were at the Enders and all, but I actually think he's better than you were even in CSGO, mate, even when you were at your peak.
Shut up, Tori, come on, bro.
Listen, obviously he hasn't done it in like major final or something, I'll give him that, and obviously he hasn't won like enough tournaments stuff, but in terms of like if you just took the nameplates off and you watched the POV, because the difference is, I actually always used to think that your AWPing made you a better IGL than an AWPer back then, because the way you used to AWP in 2016, 2017 was like, on CT side, you would actually be like the first point of contact, you were like peak people to get the info, because also with the AWP, your firing style's really quick as well, so you can get the shot off, but then you can also fall back, but you're the IGL, then you have the info, you don't need someone to com that to you. And then if people remember, you used to be in a lot of late round scenarios, you weren't the AWP going first on T side all the time, or the one that the whole team's, you would be like waiting at the end and then win the 1v2, like you had specialist AWP skills,
So as aggressive as you can be, without complimenting the round, like, without giving away.
You weren't, put it this way, you weren't trying to AWP like Kenny S and Guardian, like I said, where the whole team's based around you, they're all sitting there waiting for you to get your shot off and then move up the map. No, it was a different style. So the difference is, Molodoy is just like a mono-C type AWPer, mate. He's just super cracked out. I agree, by the way. He's got that thing. Normally, one of the reasons why I'm always a huge fan of Torji, but I'm not as big a fan, is because, yes, when Torji hits, it looks amazing because he fires so fast. My problem is, I find he's very hit and miss. He has games where he just doesn't hit the shot, or if he gets nervous, it fucks him up. I think the hardest thing is to be the simple mono-C type AWPer, where you fire as fast as possible, but you have a really high rate of hitting, though. Like, you actually hit all those shots, because that's what makes what you're talking about, like the presence in the server. Because I feel like fans, especially in CS2 where the AWP's a bit weaker, they don't understand actually why the dominant AWPers are up here and the other AWPers are down here. Because in theory, an AWP can be neutralized. It's really expensive. You're stuck on that site or that corner. Again, in CS2, you can't re-peek a million times unless you're always going to hit the shot, because people will just wait on the corner and use utility and just kill you immediately and trade you. And also, if they send multiple people and you aren't really cracked out, they can just take the spot. They can just overrun you. There's a difference why normal AWPers, you can just play against them. And the great AWPers, people really do that shit of like, right, he's on that site, let's go to the other site. That's a real thing. Actually, like, if you're playing, Monacy and Zimu, you do that, right?
One thing to add about it, even now when Simple joined FaZe to play those tournaments, we're playing some practice against them. We're playing some newbies. Motherfucker was picking the right place to be there all the time, bro. So, we review the match after the practice. Like, well, what can you do, man? He hits like the right place 4 or 5 times in a row, man. Like,
sure.
Is this bad calling or what? The guy hit 4 or 5 times in perfect rhythm because he got the first kill. What can you do? So some of those guys, they just understand better and they just,
It's why I even make the joke on another show that actually I feel like the worst thing about Simple playing in Tier 2 is I don't know what these kids are learning getting fragged by him. Again, Fall, if I do the VOD review and I'm their coach, it's like, well, coach, I peaked him properly. He just shot us all. It's like, yeah, like that happened. Sorry. Go on, man. What are you going to say about me?
I think, Simple is his own system. But I'm curious from your perspective, Fallen, what kind of system you guys are putting around Molodoy, because it feels really well thought out. Like the way you guys move up certain positions, the way you boost, you in particular, the one that boosts him so he can get certain picks off. It kind of feels like when I watched you back in 16, 17, FNX was oftentimes your right-hand man. Like he was helping you out with certain like clearing things, like you're going up cobble at A. He's kind of like clearing some of these difficult close angles for you, but then you could take the far sight line. Now you're kind of the FNX, and Molodoy is what you were doing in terms of just kind of the A-B 1, 2, 3 back and forth between you two. So it really feels like you guys know exactly how you want to get him in position, which I'm sure is something that you've been the opera before. You've been the guy that needed to get set up so you could take a certain sight line. And that's something that I think is definitely assisting. Like, if there was a team for Molodoy to land on, I don't know if it could have been better for him than getting onto Furia when you're really creating these guidelines for him, and even you kind of you put the bumpers on for him so that he can like move around in this area that you have really just made so comfortable for him.
Oh, being completely honest, I feel like the department where I'm helping the most is the Nate department, the support department, because that's what I was really good at with the Alp.
Yeah.
And also, there's a lot of times when he's trying to be this Alper, he has sometimes, mainly in the beginning, has a little difficulties on understanding when is his time to be playing and when is the time to be enabling others. Because as soon as he enables others, then a situation comes by and then he can play. So I think the department I help the most is, hey, now for this next 7 to 10 seconds, it's about setting up what we're going to do as a team, and then you start playing again. So like making sure that he understands macro-wise what's expected from him in a support role. And in a sense, I feel like if he listens to me too much as well, then he's going to lose the other side of the word, that is, I don't want to be throwing shit, mate. I want to be covering the guy who's going to pick, and I'm just going to get this kill, So I think there's a lot of help in the team. In this department, I feel like I help a little bit in order for him to understand when he has to think about the team and then come back to the Alpine role. And on the beginning, we had some discussions, and I was like, you need to help the short guy on those two control short, mate. Like, sometimes he's going to be in a flash, you need to flash, and he'll be saying, no, I have to hold the mid cross. What if Alper shows there? And I'm like, I understand. It's true that Alper can show and you still have to flash. So what you going to do? Sometimes you're going to be flashing. Sometimes you have to hold. So what we going to do, right? And I think another departments, I think macro-wise, Yekindar is helping a lot as well. Even though he's not an Alper, he still say a lot of things. Hey, Daniel, you can go for this here and there. I expect this from you here and there. So there's a lot of people helping into this. But overall, I think it's his own capabilities. I think his own understanding. He knows what to do. I would say that 80% of the times there's no help needed. He knows what he's doing. And I think that the only department that I feel I really had to help is this understanding when to support. And sometimes, for example, those two, our rotator is going more towards mid B. He's holding short by himself, and I'm telling him, if you play on ramp, you got to hit 3 or 4 shots for us to win the round. They're going to kill you, have no up anymore. They're going to kick me long. I cannot play long. If you can get one from the corner and then survive, we're in a 5v4. Eventually, the team is going to come by. They're going to do something as 3. You're going to enable me up. Maybe we kill Lurker long. So team-wise, it makes sense if you play corner to survive in this situation than to play ramp and get all the kills. And then I think he's getting a little bit of experience on where the team needs him right now. So, but other than that, I think it's 90%. He have it. Those kids nowadays, they just have it. Like you cannot tell me that the Spirit guys were teaching Donk too much as he was playing after Spirit Academy. No, they just come so ready. Like Kyosuke now on Falcons. Can you tell me that he's learning majority of his game from Nico and all those guys playing the game? Like
Probably not.
Probably one thing or not, but overall, they're just so complete as they get to go. Wait.